Hidden Truth channel. And this is my live broadcast for today, which we are talking about a race war that both sides want, which I'm not going to be a part of, and the dangers of AI. So, excuse me, doing my video inside today because outside it's just atrocious. The wind still hasn't been stopped blowing for at least 3 weeks. You know, up here in the sand of Nebraska, it's like we're at the beach every day too. So I decided to do my live broadcast inside. I've been sandblasted enough over the last few days. Need a little break from it. But anyway, tomorrow night's broadcast should be from up 2.5 hours north of here, up in the Sandhills where I got work at a ranch that I got to do some cowboy and fence fixing and stuff like that. So hopefully I have internet connection there with cell phone service there, I should say. A lot of places in the Sandhills is like, can you hear me now? But when I went there to interview and I was driving around, I had signal by the place, but that doesn't mean I'll have signal in my house. So anyway, we'll see. I hope so, because I want to continue on with my broadcast lives, every night it'll be a little different. It'll probably be about 5:30 or 6 o'clock at night instead of this time. I finally got a ranch job where I get paid by the hour. Nothing better than having a job where you get paid by the hour that you just love doing. So I'll be up there in the Sandhills tomorrow night. So I hope everybody can come and see me there at my new place. Anyway, we are at 2 minutes, and that's usually when I start my conversation of the topic of this live stream. First thing, the race war, okay? In Kansas City yesterday, a paramedic, fireman, whatever, was stabbed to death in the back of an ambulance by a patient that he was treating. Crazy, huh? An African-American woman and a white paramedic. And she decided to stick a knife in his chest. A little bit of copycat and stuff, but this is getting ridiculous. I mean, let's all remember the race war thing. Remember Helter Skelter, Charles Manson wanted a race war. Remember that? Sharon Tate and the Blancas or whatever their name was, what he was trying to do is start a race war. I mean, can you imagine this 29-year-old paramedic treating this lady? I don't know how's it going, Beastal Bunny? But can you imagine treating somebody in the back of an ambulance and he turned his back on her, whatever, and turns around, he's got a knife in his chest? What's wrong with these people? I wonder if it has anything to do with the Carmelo Anthony family is now basically millionaires because of what their son did. No, yesterday in Kansas City, the 29-year-old fireman paramedic, they went had to treat a woman, had her in the back of the ambulance, and on the way to the hospital, she stabbed him, killed him, stabbed him in the chest, in the heart. Now, I don't know what's wrong with this country, but that's totally off the wall crazy. I mean, obviously, he wasn't racist. He was a very good man. Now, like I say, I don't know what this lady's motives were. If she was all caught up in the Carmelo Anthony thing, and she just decided she was gonna, start her little part of the race war. Like I say, Charles Manson wanted this. Charles Manson. So we're dealing with people that have this mentality of Charles Manson. Well, the drugs thing, yeah. But, with Carmelo Anthony, I'm wondering, is there any possibility, like somebody brought up, they had the video released of him at his football practicing like a normal human teenager. Was he on some type of antidepressant, antipsychotic? Was he going through somebody just torqued him off and he was willing to take it out on anybody? We don't know the facts. But that football practice, you never thought a kid like that would have put a knife in somebody's chest just because. I mean, to me, you look like more of a person that would have duked it out. It makes no sense, especially after seeing that video. Yeah, he definitely seemed like somebody that would have duked it out instead of pulled a knife into a fist fight. But now in Kansas City, I mean, okay, now paramedics are getting it in the back of ambulances. I mean, can you imagine being a white paramedic now? I mean, there's got to be a little bit of fear. Not that they want to feel it, but there's a little bit of apprehension. All this race stuff going on, hate somebody because of their color. How low and shallow can you be? Could be anything though. Yeah, I know. Could be anything. But it seems kind of odd that all of a sudden a white ambulance paramedic gets stabbed in the chest. And I hate saying white and black. I hate saying that because I don't want to separate people. People are evil. So this person in the back of this patient killed the paramedic. Oh, in Kansas City yesterday. The 29-year-old paramedic that got stabbed to death, stabbed in the chest by the patient in the back of the ambulance. 29-year-old firefighter, paramedic. Nice guy. Wife taken. I know. What am I talking about? Exactly. I mean, I had to hear it from somebody on YouTube. It's not like it's on the news. Why isn't it on the news? This is the thing about this country that these race baiters on both sides have cooked up. Okay? If that would have been a white patient that stabbed a black paramedic, there'd be people in the streets. Not knowing that a person did a crime to another person, we got to look at what color they are. Okay? But this stuff is Charles Manson level, out of control race war, right in the open. And I'm sure, like I say, with the financial backing that Carmelo Anthony's having, these people are falling for it. They're not right in the head. Now, they didn't say why they picked her up. But, I mean, now do our paramedics have to be armed with pistols and stuff to protect themselves from the patients they're going to go treat? How do you stab somebody that's helping you? I don't know. I have a brother, is a drug addiction. He has many felonies of him by gun. And, well, it's not a race thing. I don't think so. I don't know what it is. But it just seems odd. And the thing is, it never really is a race thing. I mean, when Carmelo Anthony took Austin Metcalf's life, it had nothing to do with race. It had to do with his pride was hurt, that he was told to move from a chair. It wasn't because it was from a white person, because it was from a person. But see, after it, to save his ass, they wanted to turn it into a race thing. And then it gets these people that aren't too right in the head, especially when they got all the media coverage of it, and they're not too stable in the mind to act out. Okay? And that's what she did. Okay? I guess we'll find out when the truth comes out, but I just find it really odd that a patient would just stab a paramedic in the back of an ambulance. I mean, I don't know what kind of state of mind you have to be in, but you obviously must have not been very ill. It must have been a fake call. Anyway, my mother's a doctor who worked in LA, and she's one time got a death threat, so we had to move to Washington. What'd she get a death threat for? Being a doctor. Yeah, you can't even be in a profession that you help people, and you help them and they get pissed off at you, want to take your life. The man on the lake, the Lakers. Oh, is that what? LA Lakers? So where you live up there in Washington? I used to be stationed out at Woodby Island for 3 years. Had a good time out in Washington. I like the mountains out there. Or when you're scared on drugs, you react differently. Yeah, see, they're not in their right mind. They're not in their right mind. Whether it be whatever the drugs, where they come from. But like I say, when they hear this on TV and stuff and this constant, you need to hate your neighbor. You need to hate somebody. You need to hate, you need to hate, you need to hate. That's all these people here, and they're already not in their right mind. They can't rational, information on their own correctly. And they're being driven to do stuff that they normally wouldn't do. Okay, I'm not saying they ain't responsible, but you live in Seattle. I tell you what, it's a grief. It's probably a grief thing. I don't know what it was. We'll find out. But like I say, we need the media and everybody to stop stroking the fire, and politicians. We all need to come together. What happened in Texas is a 17-year-old took another 17-year-old's life. Let's take the race out of it, and let's get to the basics of it. One kid died, and another, that family's suffering, and another kid's going to go to prison for a long time, and their family's suffering. So, I don't know why we can't come together and help them heal. And Seattle, yeah, I tell you what, when I was out Woodby Island, I had to come to Seattle. A couple times, Seattle, either only way off of Woodby Island is Deception Pass Bridge or the ferries. I took the ferry both to Port Townsend and Seattle, but normally I went across Deception Pass. But I tell you what, that traffic in that town was terrible in the 90s. I can't even imagine what it's like now. Okay, now let's talk about AI. Okay, and this ties into these people that aren't all upstairs and rationalize between fantasy and reality. Okay, now we're dealing with AI where they can make stuff look real that aren't real. They say that Blue Origin might have been an AI fake. The only thing that scares me about that, if they can fake that, they can fake a 1938 War of the Worlds live broadcast. Crazy times we live in. Crazy times. But anyway, these people that are influenced by bad actors, I'll say, on both sides, and in the media, and in the politicians that are telling everybody hate everybody and just not get along in general. And they're, now these people with AI are coming up with false news reports where they actually have a news station, like CNN, where they were saying that the charges against Carmelo Anthony were dropped, and Austin's brother's going to be charged with murder. I mean, who believes this stuff? The thing is, what kind of mind do you have to have where you go out of your way to pass on false information, make people upset, just generally stir the pot? What kind of mindset do you have to be? How miserable do you have to be in your life to try to make other people miserable? And now you're going to have these people not only listening to Jacqueline Crockett, who wants something done on March 29th. Now, let's not forget the politicians are pushing this. And then, in Texas, it's both sides, okay? There's racists on both sides, okay? Not just the whites or the blacks in this thing. Nobody's born inherently racist. People are taught to be racist, either by their experiences, and they choose to, well, that black person was bad to me, so I hate all black people, or they're taught it, okay? Whichever way, it's not a right way to think. I've had more white people screw me over than any other nationality. So I guess I hate all white people, huh? I guess how would you call somebody who hates his own race? The human race is the thing that's the problem is. We don't realize we all are in the same ball game together. They want to divide us into all these teams that compete with each other. Oh, you're a different color. You're a different race. You think differently than me. You're a different political. Uh, you think different politically. Okay, you're taller. You're shorter. However you want to divide us, divide and conquer. You know, if they haven't conquered us enough, they just keep dividing us more, and people fall for it all the time. But with this AI, I'm really worried that if they can make stuff up and pass it on as real, like, you know, the news station comes out and say, you know, we all believe the news, right? It's in black and white, as I say. If it's written in black and white, you got to believe it. Okay? But it's going to influence people. I mean, I saw the fake CNN report where they were talking about the AI produced one, where they're talking about dropping the charges on Carmela Anthony and charging Austin's brother with murder. I don't know why people want to turn our world into a graveyard and why they're just trying their hardest. Okay. It's like there's not enough destruction in the world, not enough hate in the world. So let's stroke it. It may be, but the same, you gotta look at on the bright side. I know, and the bright side is we all need to come together and see who the enemy is. And we all need to solve our problems like we used to. When I grew up as a kid and in the 90s, we didn't have all this division and separation. Okay? Everything was peaceful. You didn't care what a person's race was or color was or anything when you saw them around. I wasn't afraid of getting stabbed in the chest because I was white. And no black guy was afraid to get stabbed in the chest for me because he was black. When did all this stuff start? And become acceptable. Like say, this is what Charles Manson wanted. He's probably laughing right now in his grave. Well, they're finally getting kicked off when I tried to start 50 years ago, or 60 years ago now. And people don't see that. I don't understand. I don't understand why you have to hate your neighbor. Over your color. We're all equal. I met people of many colors and many races. I've been around the world. And the core human being is the same. The culture's different, but the core human being's the same. Mother wants to raise her family, take care of her children and stuff. The father goes to work, comes home, wants to spend time with his family. I think after Judge Flutie incident, but what you know is that he had an overdose and that's why he was flipping out. I don't know what George Flutie. There's too many drugs in the world. I mean, we got a fentanyl. I've never had to deal with the fentanyl thing. I've had to deal with people I love dealing with meth and stuff. George Floyd, okay. Yeah, I know. I lived in Minnesota during that time. It was crazy. Okay, it was crazy. Yeah, you know, but that's just another thing. He's in the store trying to pass fake money, and they could tell he's, you know, he brought those problems on himself, and they say he would have died of an overdose anyway. The circumstances don't matter. But what happened afterwards? I mean, that's how we settle our problems as intelligent human beings, burning down the neighborhood. A lot of good things could have came out of that. A lot of good things. Instead of burning down neighborhoods. So, anyway, and then putting him as a reason for why you need change. Okay, he needed treatment. He needed change in his life. But, you know, the life he was living is not the way you're supposed to change to. So anyway, but the AI is just going to, all this fake stuff that they have out, and now that they can basically fake anything down to where you can't tell whether it's real or not, they're going to really start influencing these people. Remember, they said TV was, how did they say it? The brainwashing kids through, showing quick snaps of pictures and stuff that you can't see with naked eye, but your brain sees them and stuff. What the hell do they call that again? Not brainwashing, but, to get a person to act, well, yeah, brainwashing without them even knowing. Now you're going to be dealing with AI. It's just, I don't like the point that we're making machines smarter, computers smarter, and basically human beings dumber. It's not going to end well in the future. Now, it's not, and everybody needs to realize that it's not right to do, and it's especially if the parents do not want to riot and they do anyway. Everyone needs to be grown-ass adults. Yeah. Violence doesn't solve nothing, whether it be war or not. It's just some big thug trying to take out another thug. Okay? And that's, I just don't want to be divided no more. I'm not going to hate my neighbor. And if they want to start a race war, I'm not going to be part of it, no matter what tools they use or no matter what they say. Now, I will defend myself, but I'm not going to be running around. I want to fight to save my fellow citizens from our true enemy, what should be our government, no matter who's in charge. Okay? I want to save all Americans from that, like the oath I took when I joined the Marine Corps. And that doesn't include, I hate this person because he's black, so I'm going to go to war with every black. I mean, that's crazy time. That's how they teach you to hate in the service. That's how you're able to go kill your enemy that you don't know and you don't even hate, but you think you hate him because they taught you to hate him. I just see that the whole population of the country is just going through a slow type of boot camp, a slow type of brainwashing. And that's why I'm not affected by it, because I've already been brainwashed once, thoroughly. Okay, government is not great. The thing is, I don't want any of my freedoms taken away. I want the government to protect my pursuit of happiness. We need to get, I got a big thing on the government. For one thing, our government's too big and too intrusive. Every time you add a department to the government, we lose more of our rights. And that's just the sad, honest facts. People, whatever, they can make their lives easier. But I guess I live kind of a hard, humble life, so I'm not falling for it. But yeah, the true enemy to all of us, to all Americans, is the enemy that's trying to divide us. And then we can sit there and get at each other and take each other out, and then they can come up and after the ashes and take over, and they didn't have to do anything. So anyway, and AI is going to be, I'm just so scared of AI. Like I say, when I watched a Terminator back in the 80s, I didn't think that'd ever become true. Now it's like human beings want that to become true. And I'm not saying killer robots, which they are making. They want killer robots to fight wars. We're going to use, that's not the AI. AI is going to bring about wars where human beings don't have to even interact with it. It's all going to be done by machines. So whoever can produce the most robots and killing stuff will win. Well, I guess that'll be China right now. Sure ain't going to be us. But science fiction at its best. Anyway. Well, the thing about politics is they want to make everything about politics. Okay, how do you get, like I say, you got a politician getting on TV telling you're not supposed to like your neighbor. And said, hey, you guys need to get together, have a block party, discuss what's going on, and give us some good ideas on how to solve these problems. No, last thing you want to do is get along with your neighbor. Because if we all start getting along and we see who the real enemy is, then the real enemy is going to be shaking in their shoes. Anyway, Appreciate everybody being here tonight. Like and subscribe and share my content if you would, please. Anyway, like I say, tomorrow night I should be live from the Sandhills up in the northern part of Nebraska. Anyway, enjoy. Thank you everybody for being here this evening, and I'll see you later.